Have you ever gone to sleep with your iPhone at 80%, only to wake up and find it sitting at a measly 40%? You haven't touched it all night, your screen was off, and yet something inside that piece of glass and aluminum was working overtime while you were dreaming. You might think it is just a worn-out battery or maybe a rogue app, but the truth is far more calculated. Hidden deep within the labyrinth of your iOS settings is a specific feature that is designed to help the planet, but it is absolutely destroying your battery health and drained your charge while you slept. This setting is enabled by default on almost every modern iPhone, and Apple doesn't really want you to think twice about it. Today we are uncovering the one hidden setting you need to turn off right now to stop that overnight drain and finally reclaim your phone's longevity. We aren't just talking about turning off Bluetooth or lowering your brightness. We are going deep into the system analytics and background processes that are secretly consuming your power. To understand why your phone is losing juice at night, we first have to talk about how modern smartphones handle background data. Most people think that when they lock their phone, it stops doing things. That couldn't be further from the truth. Your iPhone is constantly talking to satellites, pinging cell towers, and scanning for Wi-Fi networks even when the screen is dark. But there is one specific setting that relates to what Apple calls clean energy charging. On paper, it sounds glorious. Your iPhone will try to reduce its carbon footprint by charging only when lower carbon emission electricity is available. But here is the catch. To do this, your phone has to constantly communicate with Apple's servers and local power grid data providers to determine the exact mix of energy being used at that very second. This requires a persistent background process that never sleeps. It is constantly checking your location to find the nearest power grid data and then running complex algorithms to predict when the best time to charge is. While it waits for that green energy window, your battery is slowly being eaten away by the very process meant to save it. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. If you really want to stop the bleed, we need to talk about system services. These are the hidden ghosts in the machine. Navigate to your privacy and security settings, then location services, and scroll all the way to the bottom until you see system services. Inside this menu, you will find a list of toggles that would make a privacy advocate's head spin. Things like compass calibration, motion calibration and distance, and setting time zone. Do you really need your phone to use GPS to calibrate your compass while you are tucked in bed? Absolutely not. Every time one of these toggles pings your location, it wakes up the cellular radio or the Wi-Fi chip, and those are two of the most power-hungry components in your device. Turning these off won't break your phone, but it will significantly reduce the number of times your CPU has to wake up in the middle of the night. Now let's look at another silent offender. Significant locations. This is a feature where your iPhone keeps track of everywhere you go to provide personalized suggestions in Maps and Calendar. It is buried deep within the System Services menu I just mentioned. Your phone is basically building a map of your life, and it is doing this by constantly monitoring your movement. Even when you are stationary at home, the system is checking to make sure you haven't moved to a new significant location. This persistent monitoring is a massive drain on resources. By clearing this history and toggling it off, you are not only protecting your privacy, but you are also removing a heavy background workload from your battery's shoulders. Moving on, we have to talk about background app refresh. We've all heard this one before, but most people handle it the wrong way. They either turn it off entirely and wonder why their apps feel slow, or they leave it on for everything. The secret to stopping overnight drain is to go through that list and be brutal. Does your airline app really need to refresh in the background at 3 a.m. when your flight isn't for another 3 weeks? Does that game you haven't played in months need to check for updates while you sleep? Go to Settings, General, then Background App Refresh. Set it to Wi-Fi only to prevent your phone from using the power-intensive cellular data radio at night, and then manually disable every app that isn't absolutely vital for real-time information. This alone can save you 5 to 10% of battery life every single night. Another setting that is secretly sipping your power is tucked away in the mail settings. Most people have their email set to push. This means as soon as a server gets an email for you, it pushes it to your phone. This sounds convenient, but it requires your phone to maintain a constant, active connection to the mail server. It's like keeping a door propped open even when no one is walking through it. If you get a lot of junk mail or newsletters overnight, your phone is constantly waking up to receive them. Change your settings from push to fetch, and set the interval to every 30 or 60 minutes, or even better, set it to manually. This way, your phone only checks for mail when you actually open the app. The energy savings here are astronomical over a 24-hour period. Let's dive into something a bit more advanced: analytics and improvements. Apple wants to know how you use your phone so they can make iOS better. That's fine in theory, but to do this, your iPhone collects data on every crash, every app usage, and every system event. It then bundles this data into large files and uploads them to Apple's servers. This usually happens at night while the phone is idle. This process uses the CPU to compile the data and then uses the Wi-Fi or cellular radio to send it. Go to Settings, Privacy and Security, scroll a bit, and find Analytics and Improvements. Turn off Share iPhone Analytics. Your phone will instantly stop doing this homework for Apple, and your battery will thank you. While you are there, turn off things like Improve Siri and Dictation and Share iCloud Analytics. These are all unnecessary tasks that drain your power while providing zero immediate benefit to you. Now, let's talk about a setting that is a literal eyesore for your battery: Raise to Wake. This feature uses the accelerometer to detect when you pick up your phone and automatically turns on the screen. It sounds nice, but think about how many times that screen accidentally turns on because you moved in your sleep, or your phone is in your pocket, or it's on a nightstand that gets bumped. Every time that beautiful OLED or LCD screen lights up, it is draining a significant amount of power. Turn this off in Display and Brightness. Use Tap to Wake instead if you have a newer iPhone. It requires a conscious touch to wake the screen, preventing thousands of accidental pixels from lighting up throughout the week. We also have to address the elephant in the room: 5G. If you live in an area where 5G signal isn't perfect, your iPhone is working twice as hard to maintain that connection. It is constantly switching between 4G and 5G, searching for that higher speed. This search process is one of the most draining things a phone can do. If you are sleeping, you don't need gigabit download speeds. Go to Settings, Cellular Data Options, then Voice and Data. Change it from 5G on or 5G auto to just LTE. Most people won't even notice the speed difference in daily use, but the battery stability is night and day. If you really want to go the extra mile, you can set up a shortcut that automatically turns on airplane mode or disables cellular data when you are home and connected to Wi-Fi. Speaking of Wi-Fi, did you know your phone is still looking for Wi-Fi even when you turn it off in the control center? When you tap the Wi-Fi icon in the control center, it just disconnects from the current network, but the radio stays on, scanning for new ones. To truly turn it off and save power, you have to go into the actual Settings app and toggle it off. Or, better yet, just leave it connected to your home Wi-Fi at night, because Wi-Fi uses significantly less power than cellular data. If your phone is struggling to find a weak cellular signal at night, it will ramp up the power to the antenna to try and stay connected. This is why you might wake up with a warm phone and a low battery. Have you ever noticed your phone screen gets slightly brighter or darker on its own? That's auto brightness. While it's meant to save power by dimming the screen in dark rooms, the sensor itself is constantly active, monitoring ambient light. In a dark room at night, it should be at its lowest, but sometimes it glitches or reacts to shadows. More importantly, using True Tone and Night Shift also adds a layer of processing to every single frame shown on your screen. While Night Shift is great for your eyes, if you are concerned about every last drop of battery, these are small factors that add up over months of use. One of the most overlooked battery drains is Siri. Specifically, the Hey Siri feature. Your iPhone's microphones are always on, always listening for those specific trigger words. There is a dedicated low-power processor just for this, but low power is not zero power. If you don't use voice commands that often, especially while you are asleep, turn off Listen for Hey Siri in the Siri and search settings. This stops the microphones from being in a constant state of readiness, allowing the system to enter a deeper sleep state. Let's talk about notifications. This is a huge one for overnight drain. Every time you get a notification, three things often happen. Your phone wakes up its vibration motor or speaker, the screen turns on, and the radio pings the server to get the data. If you are in 20 different group chats that stay active all night, your battery is being attacked. Use the focus modes. Set up a sleep focus that silences everything except emergency contacts. Not only will you sleep better, but your phone will stay in a low-power state for much longer. Go a step further and enable dim lock screen in your focus settings to ensure that even if a notification does come through, It doesn't blast your room with light. While we are in the settings, let's check out iCloud Backup. By default, your iPhone backs up to the cloud when it is charging and connected to Wi-Fi at night. This is a vital feature. But if you have a slow upload speed or a massive amount of new data every day, this process can take hours. During this time, the Wi-Fi radio is at full blast, and the CPU is encrypting your files. If you find your phone is particularly drained on nights it backs up, you might want to consider doing manual backups during the day when you are at your desk or plugged in, or optimizing what gets backed up in your iCloud settings. Now here is a secret for the power users. The App Store automatic updates. Much like iCloud Backup, your phone loves to update your apps in the middle of the night. If you have 200 apps and 20 of them have updates, your phone is going to spend an hour downloading and installing them while you sleep. You can disable this in Settings, App Store, and toggle off app updates. This puts you in control. You can update your apps when you have 50% battery and are near a charger, rather than letting your phone decide to do it at 4:30 a.m. on a Tuesday. Another sneaky drain is the Journal app or other suggestion-based features in iOS. Apple recently introduced journaling suggestions. This feature uses Bluetooth and other sensors to detect when you are near friends, when you go to new places, or when you finish a workout. It is trying to be helpful, but it is doing a lot of work in the background to analyze your day. If you don't use the Journal app, turn this off. Go to Settings, Privacy and Security, Journaling Suggestions, and turn off all the toggles. This prevents the phone from constantly processing your discoverable data. Let's discuss battery health and charging. A lot of people don't realize that the heat generated by fast charging can actually degrade your battery over time, making it hold less of a charge overall. If you always charge your phone overnight, you don't need a 20-watt fast charger. Using a slow, old-school 5-watt brick is actually much better for the longevity of the battery. The chemical stress is lower, and the phone stays cooler. Cooler electronics are more efficient and last longer. Go to Settings, Battery, Battery Health and Charging, and make sure optimized battery charging is turned on. This feature learns your routine and waits to finish charging past 80% until right before you wake up. This prevents the battery from sitting at 100% for hours, which is chemically stressful for lithium-ion cells. We also have to look at the Find My network. This is an incredible feature that helps you find your phone even when it's offline. However, to make this work, your phone acts as a beacon for other Apple devices. It is constantly sending out a low-energy Bluetooth signal. While the drain is minimal, if you are in a location with a lot of people passing by, your phone might be working more than usual. You can find this in Settings. Tap your name at the top, Find My, and then Find My iPhone. You can decide if the Find My network toggle is worth the small amount of power it uses. For most, the security is worth the drain. But for those in a crisis, it's another thing to consider. One major tip that almost no one talks about is the app switcher. Stop swiping up to close your apps. I know it feels like you are cleaning up, but you are actually hurting your battery. When you force close an app, you remove it from the RAM. When you open it again, the phone has to reload everything from the storage to the RAM, which uses significantly more CPU power than just waking it up from a suspended state. iOS is very good at freezing apps that aren't in use. The only time you should force close an app is if it is frozen or glitching. Otherwise, you are just making your phone work harder throughout the day. Let's talk about the widgets on your lock screen and home screen. With the newer versions of iOS, widgets have become very interactive and visually appealing. However, a weather widget or a stock market widget needs to refresh frequently to be accurate. If you have 5 different widgets all pulling data from different sources, that's 5 different background tasks running. If you want to maximize your overnight battery, keep your lock screen simple. Every extra icon is another request for data. Have you checked your sound and haptic settings recently? Haptic feedback on the keyboard is a great feature, but it uses a physical motor to vibrate the phone every time you type. Apple has even officially stated that this can affect battery life. If you are a heavy texter, this can add up. The same applies to system haptics. While these don't drain power while you sleep, they decrease the overall stamina of your device throughout the day, making it more likely that you hit that critical low point by bedtime. A really niche tip: the AirDrop setting. If you leave AirDrop set to everyone for 10 minutes, or if it's constantly active in the background, your phone is using the AWDL, Apple Wireless Direct Link Protocol, to scan for nearby devices. Set AirDrop to receiving off when you aren't using it. It's one less thing for the radio to worry about. Now we have to talk about the physical state of your battery. If you go to Settings, Battery, and your maximum capacity is below 80%, no amount of setting tweaks is going to fix your problem. At that point, the battery has physically degraded, and its internal resistance has increased. This means it has to work harder to provide the same amount of voltage, which leads to heat and even faster drain. If you love your phone and want to keep it, getting a professional battery replacement is the best setting you can ever apply. It's like giving your phone a new heart. Another hidden thing: wallpaper. If you are using a live wallpaper, or one of those fancy astronomical wallpapers that shows the real-time position of the stars or the Earth, your phone is running a mini simulation in the background. It is also using your location to show you where you are on the globe. Switch to a static image. Better yet, if you have an iPhone with an OLED screen, iPhone 10 or newer, excluding the XR and SE models, use a true black wallpaper. OLED screens turn off pixels entirely when they are black, meaning that part of your screen is literally using zero power. Let's recap the overnight power-off strategy. If you really want zero drain, you could turn the phone off, but then you lose your alarm. The better way is the Goldilocks setup. Sleep focus on, Wi-Fi on, but cellular data off if you have a weak signal, and the clean energy charging toggle off if you find it's causing too much background activity. Check your battery graph in settings every morning. Look for the blue bars. If you see app activity during the time you were asleep, tap on those bars to see which app was the culprit. Often it's something like a social media app or a music app that didn't close properly and stayed active in the background. Apple is amazing at hardware and software integration, but they also prioritize their services and their green image. Sometimes these priorities don't align with you having the best possible battery life on your 3-year-old phone. By taking control of these hidden settings, you are moving away from the one-size-fits-all configuration and tailoring your iPhone to your specific needs. You are telling the device that you value your charge more than you value sending crash reports to a server in California. It's about making your phone quiet. A quiet phone is a long-lasting phone. By silencing the sensors, the radios, and the background analysts, you are allowing the silicon to enter the lowest possible power state. This preserves the chemistry of the battery because it prevents those microcycles of charging and discharging that occur when the phone is constantly working. Every percentage point you save overnight is a percentage point you get to use during the day when you actually need it. Don't be afraid to experiment. Turn these things off for a week and see how your phone feels. You might find that you don't miss Raise to Wake at all, or that you prefer having your email arrive every hour instead of being a constant distraction. Technology should serve you, and a phone that is always struggling to stay charged can be a significant source of stress. So take these 5 minutes, go through your menus, and flip those toggles. Your iPhone isn't just a phone, it's a tool, and a well-maintained tool always does a better job. If you found this helpful, take a look at your battery graph right now. See what's eating your energy and be ruthless with it. There's no reason your phone should be working harder than you are while you're asleep. Turn off those hidden drains, reclaim your battery life, and enjoy a phone that actually lasts as long as it's supposed to. It's your device, your battery, and your power. Keep it. Stay tech-savvy, keep your eyes on those settings, and I'll see you at the next one. Take care of your tech, and it will take care of you.